make sure that there are no bacteria close to them, because they're very vulnerable to any kind of sickness, because their immune system is down because of the chemotherapy, you know. And sometimes it's what's causing them to get more sick. Sure, the cancer cells are dying, but your normal cells are dying. So that means if there's a virus or bacteria close to you, you could get affected right away. So cancer patients or chemotherapy patients, they need to be they need to be isolated, you know.
Yeah.
Isolated means to say they need to be in a place where they're far away from whatever bacteria or whatsoever. They need to eat cooked food, no fresh food for them, because fresh food, it might have bacteria that could cause them to get sick, you know. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like for example, they asked me, so a cancer or a chemotherapy patient wants to eat fruit. Are you going to give her the strawberry or are you going to give her the banana? Technically, the answer is I'm going to give her the banana. And you ask me, why the banana, not the strawberry? You see, the strawberry, you have to eat it raw, like that way, right?
Yeah.
So you eat everything, the skin, everything. So what if the strawberry is just on top of the table, and the table would have a lot of bacteria, right?
Yeah.
For you can eat it because your immune system is working well, so you could just eat it, no problem. But if a cancer patient or chemotherapy patient would eat the strawberry might have some bacteria over there, and if she eats it, she's going to get sick. So why banana? Because the banana, you don't eat the peel, right? You have to peel it off, and you eat what's inside, right? So you can guarantee that it's clean because you don't eat the outside. You eat what's inside, and it's covered, right? Even if you put the banana on top of the table, it's still clean. And because before you eat it, you have to remove the peel, and then you eat it. So it's safer to eat for chemotherapy patient than strawberry. You know, something like that. So yeah, it's quite difficult taking care of a chemotherapy patient. Actually, you need to be very, like, you know, extra clean and extra everything. You know, so yeah, so that's it. Yeah. So what do you think of this kind of diseases, or what do you think about your mom, or how do you feel about your mom having this kind of condition, Ariel?
You know, it's really discouraging when I knew that she you know, in fact, she found something wrong with her thyroid around 3-4 years ago. But the doctor said we just need to, you know, go back to the hospital and check to see if it was not cancer, it was just like you said, goiter. But my mom was like, oh, it's okay, it's nothing bad. So she wasn't paying much attention, and every time I remind her to go back to the hospital to have another check, you know, like 3 months later or a few months later, and she always said, it's okay, it's okay, I'm fine, I'm very energetic, nothing's wrong. And she spent a lot of time with her friends, and you know, she always has excuses to go to the hospital, not to go to the hospital. So so after 2-3 years, 2-3 years later, she found something wrong with her voice, because again, she found her voice disappeared again, and she got a cold, and it doesn't recover it for like more than 4 weeks, and then we found, and she found something wrong with her maybe it's because of the goiter. So she decided to went back to the hospital to have a check, and then after the check, the doctor said it becomes thyroid. It becomes cancer. There are cancer cells in the in her thyroid, and it's there are a lot of goiter and cell cancer. So the doctor decided to remove that. So when I heard that when I know that she got the cancer, I was really sad and discouraging because I reminded her a lot of times, asking her to go to the hospital to check, and she always said, it's really hard when you trying to persuade your parents to do something, because they always think they are right, and they don't really listen to advices. Yeah. Yeah. So if we keep on checking her, thyroid status, maybe it won't turn to cancer, and we would you won't the cancer would not get too big and too much. There are a lot of how do I say, there are a lot of bad cells in her thyroid. But if we check 2-3 years ago, every 3 months, it might not grow so quickly, and yeah. So but a good thing is that one good thing is that people said for all the cancers, thyroid cancer is the most curable one compared to other cancers. Yeah. So I kind of thankful that my mom got this one instead of the other cancers. Yeah.
And from your mom, are there any members of the family who has the same kind of illness, like cancer of any sort?
My mom's sister has stomach cancer.
Okay, and how is she now?
She's okay. She's 70 something now, and she had her stomach cutting out like 20 years ago, and she was very sick and couldn't able to eat anything, and whatever she ate, she threw up right away. And yeah, but she is now very healthy. She's now healthy, and when my mom was my mom recently, my mom stayed at home most of the time, and my aunt will come over to cook for her. And given she's 70 something, she's able to go to the market and buy the chickens, vegetables, and then travel a long way to my mom's place.
Where's your mom and where's your mom's sister? Are they living far away from each other?
By taking bus, I think it takes around 1 hour. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess it's not that far then. Who's taking care of your mom's sister?
She's taking care of herself, and she can also take care of her husband. which is my
Mm,
yeah. How do I call my aunt's husband? Just
your
uncle?
aunt's husband. Your uncle, I guess.
Uncle-in-law.
No, because your uncle-in-law would be your husband's uncle.
Okay, so just my uncle.
Just your uncle, yeah. You can say your uncle. Yeah, just uncle. Yeah. Okay, so your uncle is still alive then.
Yeah. But
They don't.
he got sick. His body he's not very healthy. He's not healthy. He needs to go to the hospital often, and I thought something is wrong with him, his digestions. Yeah, the tubes in the tubes connect to the stomach. How do I call that?
Yeah, your digestive system, your intestines.
Yeah. I think it's intestines. Yes. Yeah.
What about the intestines? There's something wrong with his intestines?
Yes, but I didn't know the details. I don't know the details.
Yeah,
but he's okay. Just need to go to the hospital. Every month or something. And yeah, and he was able to drive, but he's now a little sick, and we suggest that he not to drive cars.
Okay, for him not to drive a car because it's dangerous.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. How about your husband's family? Does he have any history of cancer in his family?
Yeah, my father-in-law who died from lung cancer. I actually died from stomach cancer last August last year, and actually
just last month.
August last year.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Oh, wow.
And actually he had her stomach half removed like 5 or 6 years ago, and and he always go back to the hospital to check his body his body condition. But I think last year in January or February, we started to find that he's getting thinner and thinner in a very short time, and then we took him to have some nutrition injection.
Okay.
Despite he always go to the hospital, and doctors always check upon him, but they didn't. The doctors, because he has 3 different doctors to see every month, but those doctors never found something wrong with him, and until we found that he lost weight in a very short of time. He was very thin already, but during that month, he was like he became like a bone man. A man with only bones and skins. And then we took him to to have the nutrition injection, and the clinic suggests we test her blood to see if there's something wrong. And then after that, they found the result of the blood test showed there are the cancer the ratio of getting a cancer is extremely high. And then we took him back to the hospital and asked doctors to have a thorough inspection, and then they found the cancer has moved to his lung and the other and one other organ. What was that? And liver.
Oh.
Yeah.
So lung.
Yeah. So when cancer moved from one organ to the other, especially to the liver, it showed the doctor says he cannot live for more than 3 months.
And was it true?
Yeah, it was. So he died in last August. August last year.
Yeah. Wow, so I guess that means cancer really runs in your family, both sides, your husband and you.
Yeah,
so
true.
What are you doing to stay away from cancer, Ariel? I mean, you and your husband, are you doing something to keep yourself healthy, trying to avoid getting cancer in the future?
What I think is that my husband started to, he not started, he is a man who likes exercise. And now he exercises more, like every day. And we try to eat healthy. And I'm sorry.
You say you try to eat healthy. Like, what do you eat?
We eat sweet potatoes. People said that the sweet potatoes is much better than rice.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and when we eat meat or milk or what else? Meat, milk, and cheese. Those things that makes our body sour, right?
Sour. What do you mean sour?
Sour. I mean. How to sour or acidic. Acidic. Is it acidic?
Yeah.
So when you eat a lot of meat, you will get an acidic body, right? But if we eat sweet potato or some other food that will make your body more balanced, not just make it turn to the other way. Well, how do you call it? Basic?
Yes.
Basic?
Well, if you want more detail, alkalinic. Okay, so acidic, the opposite is alkaline. So basically, yeah, that's what I said. If you eat a lot of meat is actually more acidic. So cancer cells are attracted to an acid environment. So if you eat a lot of meat, your body's more acidic, which means you're more vulnerable for cancer cells as compared to eating a lot of vegetables. It actually makes your system more basic, or it's more alkaline. So cancer cells don't like that environment. So actually, if you're a vegetarian, then you could guarantee that there are lesser chances of you having cancer compared to a high protein diet,
Yeah.
or not a high protein, high meat diet.
Yeah. And the word that the opposite of acidic is what?
Alkalinic. Basically, acid versus alkaline. Let me just type the word. We'll put it on Skype. Okay.
Okay.
Alkaline. Good.
Yeah. Alkaline.
Yes, alkaline.
Yeah, and
yes.
My husband trying to eat healthy, so he's not he ate sweet potatoes every meal before. I mean, he he always has sweet potato first and then eat other food later, like like meat or a little bit of rice.
So how are you the one cooking your food every day, or do you eat in restaurants? Or?
We have a maid helping us cook. So we have our dinner at home. Except for weekends.
So you eat in restaurants.
Sorry?
So during weekends you eat in restaurants?
Yes.
Yes, because Rosie likes that, right?
Yes.
She gets chocolate cake.
Yeah. And we are trying to eat a lot of nuts. I mean, not a lot of we try to consume nuts every day.
Nuts? What kind of nuts do you consume though?
Like cashews, almonds, cashew, almonds, pistachio, pecans.
Oh wow! I love pistachios, actually.
Me too.
Yeah, pistachios is one of my favorites.
Rosie likes it too. He always pick the green one out.
Yeah, I like the green ones. Yes, pistachios. Although there are some shells that are so difficult to open,
Oh, so, yeah. But we always have the one we buy those, they already remove the shells.
Oh, okay. Just to eat it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I heard that pine nuts is good too. Pine nuts.
Yeah, I kind of like that too, but it's quite difficult to look for pine nuts in my city. Oh. So it's not available all the time. There are some moments wherein I would go to the supermarket and pine nuts, yeah, but after a month you go back and there are no more pine nuts. So it's actually quite difficult to look for it. So. So anyways, your maid, is she a good cook? Yes. Or do you teach her how to cook your food?
She's a good cook. She's much better than me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sorry?
Is she Taiwanese too?
No. She's from Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she could also cook some Indonesian cuisine for you.
Yes, but most of the time she cooked the Taiwanese style for us.
Oh, she knows to cook Taiwanese food?
Yes, because before she came to our home, she was working for a family in Taiwan for 3 years.
Oh, and that's where she learned how to cook Taiwanese food.
And she was learning to cook Taiwanese food from a grandmom, and the grandmom the grandmom always cook with her, so she learned from her, and which is why I I don't really need to teach her because she's good at it.
Actually, she should teach you, right?
Yes, I was thinking about that. I was thinking that if I have time, or she when she, before she a year or have an 6 months before she leaves, I need to learn from her.
Yeah. Oh, why will she leave? Where's she gonna go?
There is a restriction. A maid can only stay in a in a household for 3 years, and after that she has to go back to her country again and then come again, and at the same time we need to reapply for her again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So how long will it take? Will she be gone just for a month or longer than that?
Normally, it depends how long she would like to take leaves. How long she like to have her holidays, or yeah. So like my father-in-law's maid, she took 1 month. Before.
Oh, 1 month. And after a month, she's back in Taiwan again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Is she your first maid, or you had a lot of maids before?
My first maid, because I have to take care of when before I got pregnant, we were preparing for a second baby, and my husband suggested that we get a maid, and then she will be able to help me with the second baby if the baby came out. I got pregnant, if the baby, since we are preparing for the second baby, so yeah.
Oh, okay. So how does it feel like first time having a maid? What were your concerns? Was it awkward that there's a stranger in your house?
Yeah, in the beginning I was not getting used to it. At the beginning it's weird because I don't know. Actually, it's not that weird, but I have to dress well, not dress well, wear properly in my home. But
what? Do that?
when I say wear properly means that I can't be naked at the house, right? In my house, in my room. Before I might do that because only myself at home, and I can do whatever I want. But after having maid, I have to. I need to at least wear a t-shirt or a shorts, right?
Right.
But after the baby came out, and when I breastfeeding the baby, and sometimes I need to squeeze the milk from my from
your breast.
From my breast, and
you need to pump.
Yeah, I need to pump, and I always, not always, but I didn't mind to let her see it, and I sometimes discuss with her that you see my this one is much bigger than this one, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's more, it's like it's a little bit like family, because she's taking care of my girl. My little one very well, and my little one is like she loves her a lot. Yeah. So right. I think it's been more than 1.5 years, around 1.5 years since she
Uh-huh.
came. Yeah,
Since
so
she came.
yeah, since she came to our home, so we are pretty getting used to it. And Rosie, whenever we talk about eating some food or going to somewhere, or she will always think of our she will always think of our maid. She always said, oh, for example, sometimes she told me that, "Mommy, I love you," and then I say, "Oh, I love you too," and then she will continue. She continues saying that, and I love Daddy, and I love Mei Mei, and I love Ayi.
Okay, so she calls her Ayi.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. How do you speak to her there? Is it in English, or she can speak Chinese?
She can speak Mandarin, yes.
Oh, okay. Wow, it's very convenient.
Yeah, it's very convenient because they learn Mandarin before they came, and since she was in a Taiwanese family 3 years, so she's pretty okay on. And my husband always says she has a talent in language. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, because my father-in-law's maid, he stayed with my father for 4 or 5 years. But her Mandarin wasn't that good.
Yeah. So, how's her accent though? Does she have a Chinese accent?
No. She has her accent, but we can communicate.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's still very convenient. Oh, it's good.
Ooh.
Like, how do you feel if your maid can't speak Mandarin, but she can just speak English? Would that be something, it's not a good thing if she cannot speak Mandarin? Is it better if she can speak Mandarin?
Sorry, I didn't catch your question.
What if your maid couldn't speak Mandarin and can just speak English?
That's good too. Before we decide. When we were discussing my husband and I was discussing about having a maid, we were discussing which country. Which country do we want to hire? And we were thinking about someone from Philippines because they speak English. Yeah, but people said that Indonesian are more friendly.
Oh, really? Filipinos?
Than Filipinos. That's what I heard. And my father-in-law's husband was always he always used Indonesian maids. And so my husband was thinking that if we have a Philippine maid and he has a Indonesian maid and they cannot communicate with each other, that would be a problem.
Right. So if both are from same country, then I guess it's better.
Yeah, it's better, and they can, they kind of have a, they will be friends, and they so that was the main reason we decided to use Indonesian maid.
Right. Yeah, I think I had some Indonesian friends before, but we're not really close. We were just acquainted, so I can't tell if they're friendly or not. Yes, we had some Thai friends. Yeah, Thailand people are quite friendly, actually.
Thai friends. Yeah, Thai people are friendly.
Yeah, very friendly. Even if you just met for the first time, they're just so, I don't know, they could easily approach you and say blah, 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 even if they cannot speak much English, they don't mind. They'll say, hey, English, but they really try their best to communicate with you. Oh, that's just from my experience.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can actually speak in general, but yeah, some of my Thai friends are actually very friendly. Indonesian, I'm not sure if I really became friends with Indonesian people. Yeah, I think there's this Indonesian girl. She was, yeah, I think I met an Indonesian girl. She was part of the group, but I didn't really speak to her that much. All I heard was she can speak 7 languages. That's what she told me. Wow. Or told everyone. Yeah. I think she could speak Thai, Indonesian, English, Chinese, Vietnamese, I think. I forgot too, but yeah, she could speak 7 languages. And I was like, wow, where are you going to use 7 languages? You know, you could work in an airport or something. I don't know. But it proves that she's smart. I mean, I think people who can speak a lot of languages are actually smart people.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, agree.
Yes. And they said that if you speak another language, it's automatic. Your personality changes as well. You know? Like, personality is different if I'm speaking English, and I also have a different personality if I speak Filipino or another language.
Why is that?
Because if you're speaking a language, you would go with the culture of that language. Like, for example, I would speak Chinese, like Mandarin. I guess I would be speaking in such a way that I'm thinking like a Mandarin person. You know, the expressions that you use, the vocabularies that you're using, how you say it, the intonation. It would be very Mandarin, like the rest of the Chinese-speaking people. And then if I try to speak Taiwanese, my personality would change again, because I would be speaking like a native Taiwanese person. Like, maybe there are some things that Taiwanese people can talk about that Chinese-speaking or Mandarin-speaking people do not understand. It's just a different culture. You got it? Or speak Japanese. I would be a Japanese person if I'm speaking Japanese. You got me?
Yeah.
It's like your personality is changing, and I can see that in me. It's like if I speak English, this is how I speak. This is my normal self. If I speak Filipino, I would be like my friends who are speaking Filipino. The language I'm using, I have a different personality. If I speak another language, like the mountain language, I'll be more like, kind of like tough, you know. I'll be this girl. So, yeah, so it's it. So if I'm trying to ask myself, who am I, you know? I guess you really know me. If I'm speaking English, that's the real Kate. If I'm speaking Filipino or what, I think I'm somebody else. Because it's different. Yeah, so. Well, anyways, Ariel, I'll let you go. Okay. All right. I hope your mom feels better. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm glad to know that you're doing something to avoid cancer. So keep it that way. Okay. And I'll talk to you on Friday.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Ariel.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye.